As the conflict between Israel and Hamas approaches 2 years now, health officials in Gaza said today that the death toll there has surpassed 64,000. And with all the talk about ceasefires from politicians, it's important to remember the real people caught in the middle of a war they most certainly did not ask for. Tonight, we want to introduce you to a man who, despite it all, has found a reason to stay optimistic. Our chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, has a story of the self-proclaimed Gaza gym rat who is staying sane through staying in shape, so he can feed his family and give back to those in dire need.
Yo, the gym rat in Gaza here.
He'll heave jerry cans full of water, hunks of concrete, cram his school bag with the wreckage of his bombed-out city, anything to challenge gravity and his muscles and the cage that is the Gaza Strip.
Daily fitness life in Gaza. Let's get it.
Between rebuilding and returning to our house and making one of the best transformations I ever imagined in the situation, I just want to thank you guys for all of your love and support throughout my journey.
About 18 months ago, Mohammed Hatem started an Instagram page called Gym Rat in Gaza.
No arms, no traps, no social life.
Ostensibly to chronicle his journey from college sophomore runt to ripped and to try to escape the war that Hamas began on October 7th in the only spaces he could control, in his mind and his body.
Since I'm not expecting to get any access to the gym anytime soon, I'm going to be starting this account to document my journey, trying to get back up on my feet once again.
Feels like watching a movie. Everything is collapsing around you and you're just doing these push-ups and pull-ups and all the other exercises. So, you know, these words were kind of like what motivated me to start making content.
Muscles crave calories, which are scarce in Gaza, and above all, they crave protein, which has been nearly non-existent.
It's gotten to the point that I would buy like 1 kilogram of rice for $20 or $25.
Before the war, you could buy a whole cart of groceries for $25 US.
Exactly, like for $25 US, like you are talking about like 1 kilogram of lentils, like before this all started, it would be like $1.
You're like a plant now yourself. You're nurtured by soil and sunshine, a little bit of water.
95% of my diet recently has been rice, white bread, white beans, and maybe lentils. Plants are basically like the only thing we have right now. I am vegan by force right now.
When Mohammed started posting these videos, he was studying business administration at Al-Aqsa University in Gaza, which was later destroyed by the Israeli military. Israeli military incursions had already displaced his family at least half a dozen times, and his posts were initially daily workout chronicles, grinding it out on rooftops and in the bare concrete of alleyways.
On June 12th, we woke up and we found out internet, mobile data, network signal, all of them are gone.
The daily updates petered out in favor of vlogs, partly because internet bandwidth simply made it impossible to publish his videos.
I'm sitting right here trying to get internet.
But it's also because the videos began to focus more on his survival and his ingenuity. And for a social media audience of hundreds of thousands, it provided a telescopic view without politics and polemics of real life in Gaza.
I started the day with going to the UNRWA station near my house to receive an aid box, which honestly was a struggle considering how many people there were, but we got it done. Once I got home, I helped my family start the fire so we can heat up our food and water.
We reached out to Mohammed this past spring, and our team in Gaza began filming him earlier this summer. They were there to witness moments of hope, a pop-up market with some food, even meat, though most of it was unaffordable.
Over the past 3 months, I've never seen anyone sell meat before. For you to have 1 kilogram of meat, which you don't even know what kind of meat this is, you're gonna need like $300, $400.
And they were there for additional displacements and the perpetual search for water and food. At one point in his odyssey, Mohammed and his family were allowed to move back to their home in Khan Yunis.
The actual process of rebuilding our house is basically done. We built all the walls that we needed and we covered up the area with the metal top.
It had been partially destroyed, but they were luckier than the vast majority of Gazans because at least part of it remained intact. Plus, those precious solar panels.
The sky looked absolutely beautiful.
In the following months, during an all too brief lull, Mohammed showed his family settling into a more normal routine.
Planting is one of the very few solutions that we are using to deal with the situation we are going through.
At this point, Mohammed and his family, like so many others, started home farming.
We have this lemon tree right here.
Imagine like how much area that was used to grow plants and for livestock and agriculture is now like empty.
I started my first attempt with 90 kilograms.
And during this lull, Mohammed even went back to his gym. There was a little more food, and hunger persisted but wasn't quite as sharp.
Today was my last day in the south of Gaza.
But once again, this past spring, they received dreaded orders from the IDF to flee.
You know the normal routine here. You wake up, you find out that your house is in the danger zone.
Moving to another rental stuffed with other family members and dwindling belongings.
I gotta say, it's looking better than I expected.
So we decided to move out again.
Then another move. And at first, it might look like paradise.
Some people underestimate how close to the beach we are.
A tent near the beach.
Tent life is not suitable for human life. I am literally getting tanned while sitting inside the tent because of how hot it is.
What do I eat in a day to stay fit here in Gaza?
Mohammed's videos cataloging his and his family's food intake, almost always some version of a few spoonfuls of chickpeas, lentils, rice, and bread, are sobering.
For my post-workout meal, I had a bowl of lentils.
And it's especially so when one learns that, partly due to Mohammed's internet success, they are far more fortunate than most.
I am one of the most blessed Gazans, because I have a platform. I have, my Instagram account that helped me keep up with all the high prices and the lack of food. With the fact that I have this much of a blessing, I still went through days where I barely had like one meal. I've been able to provide food for my family, like despite how expensive it was.
That pop-up market, which featured the $200 per pound meat, it's now inside of what the IDF has designated a combat zone, and it has been shuttered.
What do you weigh now?
Can you guess?
Like 120 pounds.
Yeah, that is exactly how much I weigh right now.
Good guess, 54 kilos.
Yeah, great guess.
And amidst all of this, Mohammed has developed a side hustle to his side hustle. He's now training Westerners online. The perversity of that is not lost on him, but the proceeds from his work now keeps his family and others alive.
It's kind of ironic that I'm coaching people on how to eat and how to get their macros in, while I myself barely get like 1/5 of my daily protein intake.
Mohammed is still living in that tent on the beach with the rest of his family. And while he once dreamed of building his body and his homeland, now, like so many, he has a different preoccupation, escaping from Gaza.
Whatever it takes, I just want to escape what is going on right now and to leave Gaza because of how humiliating the struggles and the sufferings that we are going through are.
Certainly gives new perspective on life. Our thanks to Matt Gutman for that.